Hello and welcome to the show. This is Andy's Shed Live Series 16, episode number 13 for Sunday the 20th of October 2024. Hello there everybody and welcome to the show, and if you can hear lots of clocks ticking, that's 'cause there are. There you go. Proves it's 7 o'clock anyway, doesn't it? As I say, hello and welcome aboard today. I hope you've had a good week. It's been an absolutely manic week here for various reasons that I'll go into in a bit. But hello to everybody who is there in the chat. This is the last week, the very last week this week that we will be on Facebook and Odyssey and all those other platforms. Back to it probably just being YouTube from next week onwards, at least for now. But most of you are on YouTube anyway watching this, so I don't think it'll make a great deal of difference to our regulars. Hello to Dominic who is with us, hello to Christopher. Who is moving today. It's Christopher's moving day. He's moving into a new house today, so yeah, good luck with the move, Christopher. Hope it all goes well for you. Moving at 9:30 a.m. When he gets the keys from the housing office. So yeah, hope there's more room for more telephones, Christopher. Yeah. Bills is with us as well as Wesley. Wesley's here too. Hi Bills. He says, good evening Andy and everyone. I'm sorry I missed last week. I don't have a reason, but sorry. At least it's honest, Bills. Christopher, I hope you're enjoying having our King Charles and fag addict Camilla with you. Yeah. Yeah, it's done wonders for the to clean up pollution. I'm not having Camilla in the country. Yeah. Bill says he's got 7:02. Yeah, it might be Bill's. I might be a little bit behind. That clock might be a little bit behind. Also, the other thing is there's a little bit of a delay from me doing this and sending it to YouTube and YouTube processing it, then sending it to you guys. There's sometimes 30 seconds to a minute delay on it. So yeah, right. It's not really been a telephone week this week. As you can hear from all the ticking and chiming going on, it's been a clock week this week, of which there are multiples now around me. The eagle-eyed of you will have spotted the one up there that's been there for quite a while. But what you might not have spotted is there's another one there as well. Look, this little thing. I got this week. There. I'll put my camera back now, shall I? I shouldn't have moved that. I'll never get it back again now when I want it. This, I believe this is a baby Ben, what they call a baby Ben, made by West Clocks. West Clocks, clocks spelled C-L-O-X. As you can see on the bottom of there. And it's actually an ancient alarm clock. It's a bit wobbly. You see a lot of these without the bases on, and that's because the base is just held on with a rivet or something there. And this one's wobbly, and I think a lot of them lose their bases. But this is a baby Ben. Now, if you type West Clocks Big Ben into YouTube or into Google, you'll get a lot of search results, because there are a well-known alarm clock that has made them for years and years and years. More about West Clock's Big Bens next time we're on, which may be next week or maybe the week after, because we have got a week that we're going to be missing at some point in the near future. Let me just tell you what week that is before I go any further. have a feeling, I'm not sure if it's next week or week after that we're busy. It don't tell me on my calendar. But yeah, one of those weeks we will be missing. But when we come back, we'll definitely be doing the West Clocks thing. So yeah, lots of clocks have arrived. Part of the reason is I've got a new stand in an antique centre. I used to do it once before. I used to have stands in the local antique centre. A different antique centre in Mansfield, a place called Victoria Antiques in Mansfield. Hello Jeff and co, if you're watching this. I've now got a space in Victoria Antique Centre in Mansfield, which is an absolutely massive antique centre. If you are anywhere near Mansfield, and it is within walking distance of Mansfield railway station, go to Victoria Antique Centre. It's down a back street. You'd have to Google it to find it, because it's down a back street. But it is a humongous place, and you will definitely find something of interest in there. I have got a stand in there that we're populated with stuff at the minute, and one thing that I'm doing is clocks. So this one actually came out of Victoria Antique Centre last week. It's a nice little West Clocks alarm clock, and it is a genuine noisy alarm clock. Now you may be thinking, well, it's not an alarm clock because there's no bells on the top. That's because the whole clock is the bell. The whole back of the clock, which is metal, is the bell. So if I turn the thing, it should, there we go. It'll stop eventually, I promise. There you go, it stopped. So that is the West Clocks alarm clock. That arrived this week, and off the back of that, other clocks have arrived. Because then, of course, I thought, well, I'm getting this thing in the antique centre, I need some stuff. So I thought, right, okay. Because we've decided we're not going to be selling telephones again. We're not going to be selling telephones for a number of reasons. One, a lot of telephones aren't going to work soon because of the digital switch over, and it's too much trouble to convert them with rotor tones and things. And two, a lot of the telephones that are in the collection now are telephones that have been given to me to be custodian of, because people have collected them and they wanted them to go to a good home, so I don't think it's right to be selling them. So basically the telephones are all staying, but I will be buying stock of other things to put into the antique centre, and there will be some clocks going in there possibly. So I am taking clocks and things apart at the minute. This is an interesting one that I've got on the desk here. This is not an alarm clock, but it's one that you have to access by taking the face off. I know you can see that is running. This is made by Smiths, a famous British clock manufacturer. You'll be familiar with Smith mantle clocks possibly. Somebody in your family is almost guaranteed to have a Smith mantle clock. You might even have got one. Or 10. But this is a slightly more modern looking clock. I'm not sure when it was made. It's sort of mid 20th century probably. And made actually quite cheaply at the time, but now, with how cheaply made things are now, we would say this is made really well now. But actually for the time it was quite cheaply made, this. Mainly brass inside it, and it didn't run. It was completely wound up, the springs were completely tight, but it wouldn't run. And all I've done basically is cleaned it and given it a little bit of a poke and a cajole after I cleaned it, and now, as you can see there, it is running, which I'm quite pleased about. And I've got the face of it here. There's the bezel, right? There's the glass that goes in the front of it. And here's the face of it. See, Smiths. Smiths. And it's actually on that, I don't know if it's aluminium or tin or what it is. I think it's a bit of tin actually. It's on a bit of sort of tin plate. But that's the dial for it. But I'm just letting it run without this on so that I can look at the innards and make sure it keeps going, because it has been stopping and I've had to sort of poke it to get it going again, which I can't do when I put all this back on. It's not the sort of clock that's got a door in the back, so you can sort of poke the innards when it stops. So it's just sitting there running, and I'm keeping an eye on it. And also off eBay came some clock mechanisms for that clock that I was restoring the other week that I had trouble with the spring, and in the box of mechanisms that I got off eBay was this little one. When I wound this up, it started to run, so I thought, oh hey, it works, that one. So this little thing is running as well. You can see that at the top there ticking away. So that one's going as well, but it does need to clean that. And there's the little key that winds it up. In fact, it's probably getting ready for a wind up, that. It's a wind up. There we go. I think that will benefit from a clean. I think that might run better if it had a clean. But that's just sat on the windowsill ticking away because I just thought it was quite neat. They ought to make clocks out of like glass or something, didn't they? So you can see the insides, because the insides of them, you know, it's got moving parts and things, and it's generally brass and nice and shiny. You know, it'd be quite nice to see the insides of them, wouldn't it? So that's why you can hear lots of things ticking away, because that white clock up there, that is particularly noisy. That's got a particularly noisy tick, that, because the whole clock is the bell gong sort of thing. It kind of amplifies the tick as well, I think. So that's what happens to it. Oh, everybody's talking about Chris's moving. Dominic says, is that antique centre near the bus station? Yes, it is, Dominic, near the bus station and the railway station in Mansfield. Yeah, if you remember when I took you back to the train that day, it's near there. Yeah, it's just across the other side of the main road. If you come out of the railway station and the bus station, there's like a main road thing that you cross, and then keep walking forward basically across a car park and up a little side street, and it's up there. Victoria Antique Centre, Google it and you'll find it. Christopher says, King Charles has not come to Melbourne and only been in New South Wales. You'll never know how lucky you are, Christopher. Bill says, do you think the duel has been inspired by the clock? Surely. Duel? Eh? What? I don't get that. Somebody will have to explain that to me. Have I missed something? Christopher says, I've got 51 telephones to move to my new home today. Crikey. Good luck with that, Christopher. At least you know how many you've got. Are you sure you've got 51? I bet if you count them again, I bet there's 52. Or maybe even 53. It'll certainly keep going up. See, I went yesterday, across this antique centre thing. I bought a couple of, well, actually bought 5 clocks yesterday, of which this one that's on the desk here is one. And look, so what are you going to do with all these clocks? And I explained. And it says, oh, do you do anything else as well? Any other mechanical stuff? I says, yes, I repair old telephones as well. He went, wait a minute. I went scurrying back out into his house and came back out with a red 746. I went, so give me a tenner for this. So I got another 746 phone. It's really strange actually, because normally red 700 series phones are hard to come by. Everybody wants red ones normally, you know, so they sell for slightly more money than the other colours do, and you just don't see so many red ones about. But just recently, nearly every telephone that's come in has been red. I think somebody gave me a box full of old phones that had been in the shed for years and years and years the other day, and there are 3 or 4 red ones in that. I bought a red one actually out of Victoria Antique Centre for a tenner a couple of weeks back, and this one that I got yesterday is a red one as well. So we're doing quite well with red phones. I mean, you can't see it at the minute, but there's one at the side of me here. I think this might be the one that came out of Victoria Antique Centre, this one. Yeah, I think that's the one. That's the one from Victoria, I think. Yeah. Which is a Mark 1 746 look. So that's quite a nice one, quite a rare one. Really? And the date, for those who are interested, when did the Mark 1 stop? This one is dated 1973. Underneath. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, it's all happening. Oh, Bill, is a telephone dial inspired by a clock? I think what I mean. I don't know, Bills. I suppose it is, really. I suppose it must be. Dial is a thing that goes round, sort of, isn't it? So, yeah. I suppose it. Yeah, I suppose. Christopher says, the home I'm getting, the place I'm moving to, is only across the road from where I am now. Oh, so you've not got to have like a big removal truck or anything then, Christopher. You've just got to carry a load of boxes across the street, have you? Bill says, do you think the telephone dial was inspired by the clock mechanism? I think it was probably inspired by clockwork, yeah. Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah, very much so. Bill says, I've seen lots of red 746s. Yeah, what's going on? Have all the red 746s suddenly coming out to play? Yeah, there's loads of red ones about. It goes in waves like this. I've noticed this. I've noticed this with eBay, although not much what I've got has come from eBay recently, but I've noticed this in the past with eBay. All of a sudden there'll be like loads of Bakelite phones on eBay, or there'll be like loads of pendant phones, or loads of candlesticks, and it seems to go in waves. It's really peculiar. Dominic says, is this the odd one we think was broken within a year of service? Yes, the 746, yes. It is that one, yes, because it's got one of those Kumkan refurbished sticker things on it that's the same as the actual manufacture date. It's manufactured 73/1, and then the sort of remanufacture date is 73/1 as well. If you look at that, the main date in white printed in the middle, and the refurbished date on the yellow sticker. 73/1. So yeah, it's odd, that is. Very strange. Don't know what's going on there, but it is that, yeah. Christopher says, I have my Red Mark 1746L phone as my home phone. That I got it from the UK. Yeah, that'll be a nice one. Yeah. What I'm wondering is whether this might have ever been an L, but it does say 746F in 73 on the bottom of it, so I think this was always figures, not letters. So unfortunately we can't put a lettered bezel on that one. Gambo says, probably the 746s are more likely to sell than an ivory one before the VoIP rubbish. Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen when everything goes voice over IP, and I mean, it's all a bit stupid, because there is no reason that the boxes that people are going to have on their windowsill to do the VoIP, there is no reason those boxes could not receive pulse dialing like the normal ATAs that we use for CNET do. There is no reason you couldn't, no reason you shouldn't be able to plug a pulse dialing phone into them and then the box do the conversion to tone. I've been told the BT ones don't, I've been told the Virgin ones might, but we don't know anything for certain as yet, as far as I'm aware, if I followed it properly. You would certainly still be able to use a ATA plugging it into your new box, like you currently plug an ATA into your router. So you would certainly still be able to do that for things like CNET and stuff. And if you've got a PABX that does pulse to tone conversion, you would be able to plug all your pulse dialing phones into your PABX and then plug the outgoing line from the PABX into the phone socket on your new, whatever it is, router, home hub thing, whatever they want to call it. So that should work. So there will be ways of still using your old telephone, so don't panic about it. But a lot of people will panic about it, and I don't think people will buy the old pulse dialing phones so much. It will go either one of two ways. It will make phones not as desirable to the general public, so the price will go down because Joe Public's not buying them, it's only people like me and you guys that are buying them. Or it'll go the other way and they'll suddenly become rarer after an initial thing where everybody sells everything or throws it away, and that they might then become rarer and become more expensive. I personally think they will probably become much cheaper, at least for a year or two. I think the market will drop out of them for a year or two, and I am poised to rescue as many as possible, basically. Not that I don't do that already. You want to see what's down the side of me here. But yeah, I have a feeling the market might drop out of them. The museum thing is definitely something I need to look into. It's definitely something I need to look into. I've been talking to somebody at a transport museum today, where all the exhibits in this transport museum are owned by individual people, and we say, what happens to the exhibits when people die? And they've got quite a few things that are owned by one elderly chap, and this elderly chap, nobody's seen him since the lockdowns, and he owns all this stuff, some of which is vehicles, quite big vehicles, and nobody's seen him since the lockdown. So where do you stand? He's the owner, he's got all this stuff in a museum. Does it become the museum's? Is it still his? Where do they stand? What can they do with it? It's very, very difficult. Very difficult. So, yeah. The whole thing about museums and museum collections, I could do a live stream just about museums and museum collections and collection policy and accessioning stuff. I could do a whole thing about that. If you want to learn about museum stuff and how to properly curate a collection and things, I'm more than happy to do a live stream about it one week, where we get all the information together. Let me know if you want to, if that is something that would interest you. Dominic says, will the coloured 300-200 series phones ever get cheaper, do you reckon? No, I don't think they will, because I think it's collectors buying them, because there's so many, so few of them rather. I think they are all collectors buying them. I don't think Joe Public that just wants a red phone or just wants a green phone would pay the 200 or 300 quid at least that they are. Yeah, because they can be getting on for £1,000, some of those. So I think they are diehard collectors already buying them, so I don't think they will come down in price. But I think things like 746 and 706 and stuff like that, I think they will. The worry is that it might mean more people start converting them into table lamps and things like that. So I'm going to try and get there before the lamp people get there. Wesley says, I think they'll hold their value, as even the current prices are aimed at serious collectors. Yeah, Wesley's referring to the coloured Bakelite there. Well, I say coloured Bakelite, strictly they're not Bakelite, they're Diacon, but yeah, you know what I mean, the coloured 200, 300 series. Yeah, I totally agree with what Wesley said there. He's kind of took the words out of my mouth there. Yeah, totally agree with what he says. Christopher says, I use a Panasonic TDA30 PBX to do pulse to DTMF dial on my VoIP line. Yeah, well, that's what people have to do here, Christopher. They have to do exactly the same thing. So if you're facing being sent over to digital voice and you want to know how to do VoIP, Christopher's there. He's done it already in Australia. So yeah, give Christopher a shout, and I'm sure he'll be only too happy to explain what he's done. And remember, Christopher's got his own YouTube channel as well, Christopher 2000 on YouTube, where he does railway videos and stuff. Go and check it out, it's quite good. He says, my red 746L is on a PBX to do DTMF to work on the VoIP phone, because he's using that as his main phone. So yeah, that is how you'll have to do it, basically. But of course, the big problem with this digital voice stuff, as we've said on here before, is if you have a power failure, your phone will fail. Whereas at the moment, generally in the UK, if you have a power failure with the old-fashioned phone system, your phones stay on because they're a separate system, totally separate thing. When it's digital voice and it relies on that box on your windowsill being plugged into the electric, have a power failure, your box goes off unless you've got battery backup. And if you've got no other kind of telephone or no access to any other kind of telephone, your phone provider in the UK is legally required to give you a system that has so many hours of battery backup in it if you ask for it. So everybody, when they want to switch you over ask for battery backup. Tell them you need battery backup. Say, oh, I've not got a mobile phone. Tell them, because they don't know, do they? Say, I've not got a mobile phone, I need battery backup. Make it as difficult for them as you can. Because remember, VoIP phone lines will not be as good. When something changes in the world, and these big companies want you to switch, it's a bit like the switch to smart meters. When all these big companies and that are encouraging you to do something, you can bet your bottom dollar it's not in your interest to do it. Dominic says, I hear 3G is going in Oz. Yeah, I think it's going over here as well, Dominic. It's a shame because 4G doesn't work properly, and neither does 5G. I've been in places with 4G signals, a good 4G signal, and still can't send a message or anything or make a phone call, even though it shows me about 3 or 4 bars of signal, because they do something to throttle it. I'm sure they do something to throttle it. They claim they don't, but I say they do. Dominic says, I could attest to the dead phone thing with digital voice. He says, we had a power cut last month and my phone was dead as a dodo. Yeah, that's the way it's going. It's not so bad in the UK because we don't have real serious emergencies and there's not that many people that live in really remote places. But I imagine like places in America, like in Florida where they had this hurricane a couple of weeks back, you know, what the hell's going to happen there? You know, I can imagine there's going to be real problems there. I mean, the communications there are only basically saved by Elon Musk and Starlink. And quite how they did that, so Starlink can sort of tap into your mobile phones, that's a bit of a worry, because if you can make your mobile phones run via Starlink, that, to me, that means Starlink can tap into your phone somehow. So yeah, it's a bit... Big Brother is watching you, that. Gambo says, I'm hoping my BT Ultimate 106 can change the VoIP to tone once I finally install it all properly. The VoIP to tone. What is an Ultimate 106 then? Hoping it can change the VoIP to tones. Is that incoming, you mean, there, Gambo? Yeah, incoming. To change it to tone, incoming. I don't know about that. That's an interesting one. Why would you want tones though, Gambo? Coming in. I'm not quite getting that. Where it says he thinks it only presents signalling from the phone to the exchange line, not the other way around. I don't know. It would be interesting to find out. It would be interesting to find out. Dominic's the man. Dominic should know what happens, because he's already got it. If I've understood it right, Dominic has already done the digital switch over. Christopher says, I have a petrol generator to run my VoIP router when I've got a power cut. That's a very good idea actually, Christopher. And he says, and I have a 4G backup router that does 4G with a 4G phone line. Yeah, that's a good idea as well, but 4G gets knocked out. Yeah, the problem with mobile phone anything or cell phone anything is cell networks do not stay up 100% of the time. It's only that you're not using your mobile 100% of the time that you don't notice when the networks go down, but they do go down quite a lot. Wesley says, my BT has 4G backup, but it doesn't maintain the digital voice when the broadband drops. It doesn't maintain the digital voice when the broadband drops. So your digital voice doesn't keep going through the 4G, but data does. Is that what you're saying? So if your broadband dropped out and you fell back to 4G, Wesley, you're saying your digital voice wouldn't work, but you would still be able to surf the internet. Is that what you're saying? Because that's weird. Because why would you still be able to use data and surf the internet and not use digital voice, which after all is VoIP, which is going via the internet? That's bizarre. Gumbo says, it's my telephone lines box. It works off the telephone line, but not sure if it will work via a router. It would work via an ATA. If you've got an incoming port on your ATA, it would work via an ATA, Gambo, because there are people on CNET who have got an incoming line to their exchange, and their exchange is actually a Strowger exchange. So CNET comes as VoIP to the little box set on your windowsill, the little ATA, and from there it can get converted even to pulse, not necessarily tone, but even to pulse, to operate a Strowger. And that's because Ian Jolly and Co at CNET, whereas you've heard of pulse to tone converters, they were working on producing a tone to pulse converter, where you put DTMF in from the phone line and what comes out the other end is pulses to work a Strowger exchange. They were working on it last I heard. I don't know if they've got it working or not. I do actually need to ring him and speak to him about something else. So I will ask that question when I speak to him, and I'll get back to you. Dominic says, I got a pretty rotten deal on the digital voice thing because they just did it without asking. They should not do that, Dominic. They should tell you when they're going to do it. If they did it without asking, if they're doing it to anybody without asking, putting them on digital voice and not giving them the options for battery backup and stuff, please, please, please report that provider to Ofcom and get them into bother, because they're just trying to do it in the cheapest way possible and provide you with a much poorer service, basically. Wesley says, I must see if SIPgate VoIP works when the broadband drops out. Very, very rare occurrence, I must say though. I wouldn't think SIPgate will work when your broadband drops out. I wouldn't have thought it would, because that's going via your broadband. Whereas Australia Exchange used to have a tone to pulse converter when DTMF phones were becoming commonplace. And Christopher says in Australia, NBN network don't going out when we have a power cut. It's not going out when we have a power cut. So all I have to do is get my VoIP line and a Wi-Fi. Have to do is plug my Wi-Fi router to my generator, and my VoIP line and Wi-Fi will work. Yes, because it's not the VoIP line that drops out, it's the power to your house that drops out that normally powers your box on the windowsill. But if you're plugging that into a generator, it probably will still work. Yeah, I'm with you there, Christopher. It's the best of a bad lot. Where you might have problems is if you've got digital voice and it's all going down a fibre optic cable or something, and there's fibre optic repeaters to basically boost the light going down the cable every mile or a couple of miles or so. If those repeaters drop out, then there might still be problems. It's going to be interesting. It's not going to be smooth sailing, I'll tell you that now. There are going to be problems, and this thing about your telephone not working in the event of a power failure, people are going to die because of that. I'm telling you now. There are going to be people who cannot ring for an ambulance, or cannot ring the police, or cannot ring the fire service because their phone that used to work in an emergency suddenly doesn't work and nobody will have told them. Dominic says, when I move I won't be keeping BT. No, Dominic, I don't blame you. I wouldn't have, you know, this switch to digital voice, you might as well just not bother, and you might as well just have a mobile dongle with unlimited internet on it. Yeah, that you can take anywhere with you that you go. Yeah, you might as well just have a mobile dongle. Wesley says you won't be able to hear anybody on the phone if you've got a generator running, Christopher. Good point. You might have got all these quiet generators. Some of them are quite quiet now, you know. Some of these Honda ones, these little Honda suitcase things, they're really quiet. I'm surprised. Gambo says, I told BT for the last couple of years, once they stop my phone line, I'm ditching them. Good for you, Gambo. Yeah, ditch them. Yeah, want more people on CNET. I am getting CNET working again here, and for those of you who've got CNET numbers running off my exchange here, I am hoping in the next couple of weeks to get it all up and running again, and do a bit of a relaunch, so more people will be able to get CNET numbers and that, and they'll be able to phone into the show and stuff again, like Christopher and one or two others have done in the past. Wesley says the voice element is only £5 and not mandatory. You can use another VoIP provider. Yeah, I won't bother with the voice element if it's £5. Why bother with the voice element? Why charge £5 to go via BT's VoIP when you can do it for free by going with somebody like Sipgate's VoIP or even CNET's VoIP? So yeah, that £5 is a rip-off. The voice call thing should be free. It's nonsense. It is absolute nonsense. Don't even get me started on digital voice. I keep seeing them ripping cables out and that in the street, and I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? The problem is, the big problem with VoIP and that is people like me are not going to be able to get telephone cable soon. You know, when you want telephone cable to run around your house, like the one I just replaced around the outside of the house, They're not going to be able to get it soon because nobody will have full stock telephone cable anymore, will they? Christopher says, my backup router does 4G VoIP line and Wi-Fi or 4G network. Yeah. Just add the 4G. Then what's the point of your main phone line anymore? You might as well just have the 4G. Christopher says, the generator's outside, I run an extension cord inside to run the router. Yeah, cool. What you want, Christopher, outside, you want a really cool old engine like a Lister CS. A Lister CS Start-O-Matic generator lighting set thing. That would be very cool. If you don't know what I mean, just type Lister CS Start-O-Matic into YouTube. Wesley says, for telephone cable, use Cat5 cable in the unlikely event that you can't get Cat3. Yeah, the problem, I've done that, but the trouble with that Cat5 stuff is it's white. I think we touched on this a couple of weeks back when I replaced this bit that's around the outside of the house. I've replaced it about 2 or 3 times now, and the cable keeps degrading and getting splits in it, and water gets it, and then it knackers the cable, and we kind of, people on here kind of confirmed what I thought, in that because it was white cable, the sun was sort of cooking the cable and causing it to split and crack and go hard and that's what was damaging the cable. And he said, all outside cable should be black, but I've got big rolls of the white stuff and none of the black stuff, although the bit I have put in is black. The bit that I've just put in, it is black, that. But when I did it, because I got a load of the white stuff, I never thought about the sun damaging the cable. It just never crossed my mind. I thought, cable's cable, innit? 4-pair cable's 4-pair cable. Wrong, it needs to be black if it's outside. Not quite sure how that works though. I would have thought white would reflect all the sun and the heat off it and survive better than black. I thought black would soak it up, but I have no idea. Physics and that is not my strong point. So yeah, clock's still going. I'm quite impressed. Still running, look. How about that? Very impressive stuff, that is. Having said that, I've just put it on the desk and it stopped. That's it, I've set it going again. That's probably getting ready for a wind up actually. Oh, the winder's not on it. A minute. Put the winder back on it. Here's my little windery thing. Oh, it keeps stopping now. I wish I hadn't touched it. Alright. Let's have a little look. This, shall we? And see if we can see if it wants winding up again, this one. So go that way. Does it go? I think it goes that way. I think. which way does it go? Is it that way? No. Is it that way? It's that way. There we go. Oh, no, it won't wound down. Oh dear, we've upset it now. We're going again. I think. Is it going to keep going? I think it is. See, that's the thing. It stops, you see, and then you have to go inside and tweak it, which you can't do when you put the face back on, which is why I've got it sat here. And I'm just staring at it, sort of almost daring it to stop, sort of thing, at the moment, which it just did. So yeah. These little tubs, I get these little tubs from KFC with gravy in, and they're just brilliant, these little storage tub things. Yeah, it's still going, still ticking. Alright, marvellous. I think we'll let it go overnight and see what happens overnight with it. Christopher says, when I move, I'm not keeping NBN VoIP and Wi-Fi. It says, I'll just use my 4G router to run my Wi-Fi on my TV and my laptops and my iPhone. Yeah, that's what I'd do as well, I think, Christopher. All depends how fast the 4G is. Sometimes the 4G is running faster than your actual wired broadband. That's the weird thing about it. Whereas it says it's UV, not heat, that breaks down the stuff. Yeah, but I'd have thought UV would bounce off of something that's white and be absorbed into something that's black. That's what's... maybe there's something I fundamentally got wrong about how UV works there. Chris says, my Australia NBN is yes, shite, because my VoIP line keeps going out all the time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't stay up all the time. Yeah, I notice the broadband routers go out at night, often at a very specific time, like 1 o'clock in the morning, dead on 1 o'clock. Your router will drop out, or dead on 2 AM your router will drop out, and it's like they're doing it on purpose. Yeah, because I'm often up at that time watching YouTube videos on my smart tellies, and all of a sudden it stops, and you think, oh, the broadband's dropped out. They think nobody's using broadband at 2 o'clock in the morning. They don't account for night owls like me, you see. So yeah. But yeah, it does drop out quite a lot. So yes, so what have we got here? We've got all sorts. I might try and put the face back on this clock. If I put the face on though, it'll stop, won't it? It'll almost guaranteed to stop. Let me just try putting the face back on it. Oh, still going at the minute, still going. So we actually, I think, are probably doing alright at the moment. Let's see if we can put some hands on it then. Now of course this hasn't got any form of gong for the hours or anything like that, any form of strike. Doesn't massively matter where you put the hands. Let's just stick one on there like that. And we'll stick one on there like that. There you go. See? How cool is that? And I'll stick the thing that turns the hands back on. And it's still going. It's not running evenly though, but I don't know how you put one of these with a spring balance in B, but it is going still at the moment. So far so good. Shall I dare putting the glass back on? The bezel's got little cutouts at the side for the bit where it holds onto this fancy mount. There we go. How about that then? So it's just gone 2 o'clock there at the minute on that. What time is it in reality? Nearly 8 o'clock. See if we can set it. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm actually watching this in a monitor to set it, not looking at the clock itself. Never done that before. 7. And my computer's telling me it's 8:01 at the minute, so we'll go with 8:01. There. we'll see if it keeps going over the next few minutes. Yeah. And big clock is telling me it's 8 o'clock. Because big clock is a little bit slow. I always tend to set my clocks to run a tad slow rather than a tad fast, because it's a lot easier just to push them forward 5 or 10 minutes than it is to put them back if they've been going fast, because you have to stop them and wait 5 or 10 minutes, or go right round the clock, because you're not supposed to move them backwards, are you? So, yeah, that's alright. There, cool. That wasn't working at all when I got it. It was fully wound, what they call overwound, where something's fully wound up but not running. And it's just basically normally because they're gummed up. And that is now doing its thing. How cool is that? Right, okay. What are people up to? Dominic says you'll be busy changing the clocks next week. Oh yes. Drat, because you'll have to go back an hour as well, don't they? Not forward. That's hard, putting them back an hour. Yeah. Don't know why we do it, I don't. I wish you'd just leave it on British summertime all the time. Hands up, who thinks changing the clocks in autumn is stupid? Because it will be better to have a useful hour of daylight in an afternoon when everybody is up and awake and doing stuff, rather than have an extra hour of daylight in the morning when half the country's still in bed. So who thinks we should just leave it on British summertime all the time? Yeah, it annoys me. I'd like to opt out of altering the clocks. Oh, well, school children will be going to school in the dark. Oh, I can't have my children going to school in the dark. They might not get run over. Oh, they might get run over. Yeah, they might not get run over as well. My children might get run over in the dark, and children are precious. Well, you should teach your children to cross the blooming road then, shouldn't you, stupid woman? Yeah. I have no time for Karens. Yeah, no time for Karens. Unless it's just a nice person who happens to be called Karen, in which case she has my sympathy. But the classic Karen, no time for them at all. Big Clive's always on about Karens. What's happened to Big Clive, by the way? Why does Big Clive not do his live stream anymore? Does anybody know? He just disappeared one day and he's never done it again, as far as I'm aware. Yes, Dominic agrees. I'm going to be busy altering the clocks. Yes. Christopher says, I have a DTMF Western Electric 2500 telephone as the telephone plug into my 4G router to work. Yeah, well that will be, because Americans of course had DTMF long before we did. Americans had DTMF in the 60s, and here we had to wait until like early 80s, was it? Very late 70s, early 80s. And Christopher said, I can run my ATA on my 4G router too. Yes, you can, Christopher, yeah. ATA's the way forward, I think. ATAs are going to have a bit of a resurgence, I've got a feeling. I'm just listening for this clock now, because I can't see it running now, so I've just got to keep listening for it. But it's going, still going. It's still there, it's still running, look, if you don't believe me, look, 6 minutes past 8 now. So, no. Right, anyhow. Yeah, so it's not been very telephoning tonight, has it? It's been more more clocks than telephones tonight and stuff, but yeah, we'll have more telephones than that on next week. Of course, if you missed last week, you'd have missed the 12 button trim phone, which is now fully operational. The old 12 button trim phone. Here it is. Ta-da! 12 button trim phone. Fully operational now with the world's shortest line cord on it, because that was the bit of cord that was still attached to the phone, and it's got the proper trim phone grommet on this end of it, you see. So I utilised the bit of cord that was still there to where it had been cut. Nobody on it, of course, it's not plugged in, but there you go. So yeah, the 12 button trim phone, the one and only that I've got. Yeah. Wanted one for ages and never been able to get one at a sensible price. Then in the end I got given one, so yeah. Thank you, Andrew, for supplying that as part of the box of phones that he gave me out of his shed. He said, yeah, these any use to you. Need to get rid of them out of our shed. Christopher says it's 6:07 AM in Australia. Is it really? It's 8:08 now here. Yeah. Yeah, 8:08 look, I know, I've got a clock to tell me. Yeah. Dominic says they ended up with the American layout anyway. Who did? What, have I missed something there again? Gambo says, 2 weeks in a row your stream has just stopped. Last week you said goodbye, but the week before it stopped with no notice. Yeah, the week before, Gambo, not last week but the week before, it dropped out. You know what we've been talking about the internet dropping out. That's exactly what happened here. All the internet dropped out for a good half hour or more. So I just gave up at that point. And then last week I said goodbye and it just stopped because I pressed the wrong button. Where I should have pressed the thing to change cameras so the thing comes up that says thank you to our patrons and all that malarkey, I actually pressed the end stream button instead. So it was me having a bit of finger trouble last week. So yeah, I can't blame the ISP for last week. That was just me pressing the wrong button. Dominic says, I think there was a field trial with 706 style phones to work out the best button layout. Yeah, there was certainly some weird things where they had like 2 rows of 5 buttons on. Yes, there were some oddball things like that, yeah. There were some strange things. I don't know if they were DTMF or not, though. I don't think they were DTMF, because I think they only had 10 buttons, not 12. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, 2 rows across, like a dial blank on a 706. And they just had 2 rows across a round dial blank, if I remember rightly. Restream says, I've received 100 messages today with Restream chat. Quite right, yes. Not receiving any next week though, because we'll not be on Restream next week. Christopher says, my 4G router is faster than my normal Wi-Fi, my normal broadband. Yeah, I'm not surprised at that, Christopher. I'm not surprised. That has happened here as well, on numerous occasions. Gambo says, alright about the stream cutting off. He says, I'll let you off this time. Thank you, Gambo. Have you got your phone box, by the way, yet, Gambo? Christmas is a-coming. it is. Have you got your phone box yet? Christopher says, I'm running my laptop right now on my 4G router because at this moment my NBN Wi-Fi is not working. Yeah, you see, that's Wi-Fi for you. Wi-Fi is not very good at best of times, and the only thing worse than Wi-Fi is Bluetooth. I find Bluetooth really problematic. I have Bluetooth on my phone to my car, to the little electric car. Oh, the song with the electric car, don't even go there. All I'm going to say is anybody who's thinking of getting an electric car, if you are thinking of buying an electric car, don't. Just don't. That's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah. If you want to know more about it, check out Jeff Buys Cars on YouTube. But yeah, this little electric car has got a Bluetooth radio in it. So when you get a call on your phone, it goes into the radio and you can answer it hands-free while you're driving. Half the time it doesn't pair up and oh, it's hopeless. Gambo says, my boy Kevin says no to the telephone box. Why? Why are you so anti-telephone box? You weren't going to lock him in it or something, were you? Yeah, no, telephone box is a good idea. Ian's Doctor Who, would he prefer a police box? Would he prefer a TARDIS in the garden? Yeah. Do you know somebody who had an outside toilet like that? They had like a... You know, you can get these camping tent toilets that you put the toilet in when you go camping. Well, he had one that was like a police box and called it a TARDIS. No, suit yourselves. Chris says, because my NBN went out 30 minutes before you started your stream. And it's still out. So it's been down a long time then, that. It's been down, what? Out nearly 2 hours. An hour and 3/4 then, that has. Yeah. I think you should get a phone box, Campbell. They're a blooming good investment, actually. They are a blooming good investment. A couple of years ago, a K6 phone box was like £1,000 or and I thought that was expensive then, but now they're like £2,500. You know, fantastic investment. I mean, it's way better than putting your money in the bank. Buy phone boxes. Way better than putting your money in the bank, your return on it. Way better. Dominic says, when K6 boxes were going for almost nothing, my dad bought a few with a view to converting them into showers and selling them on. Have you still got them, Dominic? Gambo says, an advert for the Austin Metro electric car, but showed old models. Kelvin says there's no room for them, both TARDIS and red telephone box. There must be room. They must stick the red phone box out on the pavement. Somebody might put some money in it for you. Dominic says, think he wishes he'd kept them. Yeah, I bet he blooming does, yeah. So he's obviously not got them now then. He says, thinks when Dad bought his, they were only a couple of £100. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I know people. I know somebody who had one, it was like on a patch of grass next to his house. And when they put a new telephone box there, he had them lift the box up and plonk it in his garden. You know, it came with an IAB and went chunk, chunk, and put it down again. And that's how he got one. he actually got the local phone box. It moved all of about 20 paces that way, sort of thing, on the side of his fence. But yeah, it's just crazy money what the phone boxes fetch. Absolutely crazy money. It really is. But, you know what next thing will be? Next thing somebody will start making them out of plastic or something. Somebody like Ketty Sheds will start making a phone box out of plastic. You have to buy it in Lidl or something. But yeah, I'd quite like one. I've got no idea what I'd do with it. I'd quite like one, stick it at the bottom of the drive, just on the garden, and actually have it as a phone box with a payphone in it, and see if people used it, see if it makes anything. Yeah. GP will say, oh, you can't do that, and it's on my garden, it's my phone box, it's on my garden, I can do what the hell I want. Up yours, BT. But yeah, they were, yeah. Yes, I wish I'd bought one. Yeah. The trouble with telephone boxes, I've always fought shy of buying one because of moving it, because they're mainly cast iron, aren't they? And they must be phenomenally heavy. I've never tried moving one. I know the GPO used to have a fancy trailer thing that kind of, it had got like a grabber thing on it, this trailer, and it grabbed onto them, and then it kind of tilted back at 45 degrees to lift the phone box up, sort of thing, onto this trailer, and that's how they moved them. But yeah, absolute nightmare to move, I bet. Really heavy. Gambo says, I like the idea of a plastic Ketty phone box. Have you never had a plastic Ketty Shed, Gambo? They're rubbish. I've got one here. It's not very good. I've got a little shed. It looks quite good, but the build quality is very poor. Yeah. Somebody will vac form a phone box, aren't they? Somebody will take moulds of a phone box and make a fiberglass one or something. I'm sure it's been done. I'm sure TV companies have done it. I knocked one over one. Very nearly knocked one over. Which is at Crouch. And they were filming something. And this phone box appeared in the street, and I just leant on the phone box. I went, plonk! Because that was like fiberglass. Gambo says, I used to work at home base and I've had 3 Ketty Sheds. There you go, that shows you how bad they are, because you've had 3. Whereas most people who buy a shed only have 1. Or was it 3 side by side, or was it 3 in quick succession because the previous one blew away? Christopher says, when I got my 1937 Ericsson telephone switchboard, I got it for a good price, only 100 Australian dollars. Right, is that a good price? I don't know. I don't know how much an Australian dollar is in British money. I know a US dollar is slightly less than a British pound, but I don't know what an Australian dollar is. And a Canadian dollar's not worth anything, basically. Canadians always whinging that when they go anywhere else they don't get anything for the dollars. Yeah, how much is an Australian dollar worth? No idea. I could Google it, I suppose, but I'm too lazy, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. Alright. Let's just check in with the telephone. I mean, not the telephone, the clock. Let's just check in with the clock. There you go. You see? Oh, 25 past 8, or 26 minutes past 8. Still going. Brilliant. It will stop, won't it? You just know it's going to stop, don't you? You just know it. Right, I think that is probably almost as far as we're going to be going for today. in that I can't move in here for stuff at the minute. But yeah, so we've got more clocks to repair this week. We've got loads of telephones to sort out because those ones that came in that job lot last week or week before last or whenever it was, I've got most of them to check out still. I've only sort of done the trim phone, but there's a load of 746s. There was one red 706 amongst them as well. Must have a look at that, see what that's like. Yeah, and then moving into the antique centre, and that, of course, we're still doing dog walking here and that to try and earn some money to pay for all this, and yeah, try and get some of these projects off the bench, because there are a lot of projects on the bench here, including this phone here. It's been here for ages and ages and ages. I've not forgot about it. People do keep noticing this in the background and going, what's that? But yeah, this 706 green clone. Yeah, still working on it. One of the most filthiest telephones that I've ever had when it came in. Still working on it. Still detoxing it. Apparently, £1 British pound equals $1.94, Gambo says. So nearly $2, so 100 Australian dollars is about 50 quid. So yeah, that probably was quite a good deal then. The revelation that I've got here, that's down here somewhere, that runs all the telephones in here, I paid a tenner for it. I've got a couple of Panasonic PABXs that I paid a tenner for as well. But I don't generally use unless I'm out at an event or something somewhere and I want to plug loads of phones in on like a display, and I use them then. Christopher says, telephone switchboard's going for a lot of money now. I saw one last week and it was going for like 2,000 Australian dollars. Crikey, that's a lot of money. I'd expect it to come the switchboard operator for that. I mean, that is a lot of money. Right, anyhow, I think that's probably about as far as we go for this week. Now, next week, I'm not sure if it's next week we're not on or the week after. It's the week we alter the clocks that we're not on. But is that next week? My phone says it's daylight saving time next week, but that might be telling me American stuff. Do we alter the clocks next Sunday, or is it the Sunday after in the UK? Does anybody know? Does anybody care? Does anybody know? Do we alter the clocks next week or the week after? Somebody with greater knowledge than me, pop up in the chat please and tell us. Because the week we alter the clocks, I've got a stationary engine show and I probably won't be back in time to do the live stream. Yes, I'm aware it will be dark. Yes, I'm aware it will be a stationary engine show, partly in the dark. It's been done before. I could take my tilly lamps, couldn't I? Got quite a collection of tilly lamps. Got quite a collection of all sorts of things. If I do get around to opening this museum, it's going to be full. You do know that, don't you? Nobody's committed to whether we alter the clocks next week or not. Somebody must know. Let's Google it. Let's Google it and have a look. Where do we alter the clocks in the UK? Clocks will go back an hour in the United Kingdom on Sunday the 27th of October, so it is next week. Clocks fall back. Did you know Daylight Saving Time, DST, the process of moving clocks forward 1 hour in the summer, was started in Germany in 1916. Well, that was a good idea, probably because it was German. During World War I, it was a way to save energy resources. Fewer electric lights and less heating was needed in the lighter evenings, and it boosted productivity. Weeks after Germany introduced it, other countries adopted this idea because it was good, because it gave more light in the evening, including the UK, where it was named British Summertime. During World War II, the UK even had British double summertime when clocks were advanced 2 hours. This meant that during winter, while clocks went back an hour, they were still 1 hour ahead of normal GMT, i.e. they were still on normal GMT plus 1 summertime, even in the winter. This increased productivity. Since then, there have been debates on whether British summertime should continue. One of the biggest arguments to keep it is that road traffic accidents decrease substantially in the lighter evenings during summer. Farmers also make the most of the lighter evenings to be able to work the land more. Others argue that changing the clocks twice a year is like giving the whole population a minor jet lag, with losing an hour of sleep in spring having the effect on our mental state, especially the day after. There are currently no plans to change daylight saving in the UK. Yes, why can't we keep it all the time? Why can't we keep British summertime all the time? Why can't we do what we did in the war and have double summertime in summer and normal summertime in winter, so it stays lighter in the afternoon and it's not so light in the morning when half the country's in bed anyway and doesn't care? Let's make the most of the daylight and increase productivity and that, like we did in the war. In fact, come to think about it, why don't we do a lot of things the way we did in World War II? Because a lot of things were better. Right. I'll leave you with that thought. 27th Les Gambo. Now I've looked it up, made it alright. Yeah, so next week we are not going to be here, most likely, but we will be back in 2 weeks' time, and I'll be telling you all about Big Ben. It's not what you think. It's not the thing in London. Different Big Ben. So that will be in 2 weeks' time. So remember, 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I feel a bit like Ted Rogers. Yeah. Can you remember that? No. 3, 2, 1. Doesn't work on it because the frame rate's not fast enough. 3, 2, 1. Was it 3, 2? Yeah. 3, 2, 1. If you get it wrong, you get 3, 2. No. If you get it wrong, then 3, 2, 1. Yeah, you can get it really wrong as well. But yeah, it starts that way around. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. It looks impressive when the frame rate's high enough to do it, but it's not high enough on this stream to do it. Right. Chris says, I got my telephone switchboard working for $100, which is 50 quid. Dominic says, Dusty Bin. Yes. Dusty Bin was actually very expensive. Did you know Dusty Bin was one of the most expensive prizes ever on a British game show? Although you never could win Dusty Bin. You only got an actual dustbin if you won Dusty Bin. But the Dusty Bin model that used to come on 321 was one of the most expensive animatronics ever made at the time. Believe it or not, on a rubbish program like 321. Who can remember 321? Hands if you can remember 321 from Yorkshire Television. I remember 321 as being a really big, glamorous, shiny floor game show on a Saturday night. Really big show. I remember it being like X Factor big on a Saturday night, 321. And I've recently seen footage of 321 and it wasn't. It was cheap, to say the least. yeah, so it just shows how memories can be deceiving. But yeah, there's footage of 321 on YouTube if you fancy going and watching 321. Yeah, with Ted Rogers, 321. Yeah, and it has taken me like 30 years to learn to do that. 321. I could never do it at the time. I can do it now. Yeah, 321. 321. Yeah. The good old days. I was a Generation Game person, personally. Give us a twirl, Anthea. Right, that is about as far as we go for today. Thanks to everybody for watching once again. I hope all the ticking hasn't annoyed you too much. It's not mega loud here, but I'm aware it might be quite loud on the stream. We will be back here, same time-ish. Same plate. Now, are we still going to be on at 7 o'clock when we've altered the clocks? If we put the clocks back an hour, what would have been 7 o'clock will become 6 o'clock, won't it? So will we be on at 6 o'clock in a fortnight's time? Or will we be on at 7 in a fortnight's time? Because it will be dark anyway. Oh, my brain hurts. I'm going to say in a fortnight's time we'll still be on at 7, okay? We'll still be on at 7. We'll review it after that. So yeah, in a fortnight's time we'll be back here live and direct at 7 o'clock. Thanks to everybody for taking part once again. As always, remember, if you like what you see here, and if you're not one already, you can join us over here on Patreon at patreon.com/Andy Shed. And we also have the website where you can get in touch with us. And when I can press the right button, this is here, andyshed.callpress.net, and we also have the telephone forum at gpotelephones.proboards.com. That is about it though from me for now. The time is just after 8:30. We ought to actually make a physical noddy clock like the BBC used to have, didn't we? A clock in a noddy. If you don't know what a noddy is, and you've not hung around Television Centre for long enough, look up BBC Continuity Noddy, and you'll find out what a noddy is. It's not a little bloke who drives a yellow and red car in a funny hat. It's something else. But yeah, we will be back anyway in a fortnight's time. But from me for now, have a fantastic week, indeed 2 weeks ahead. Remember to alter the clocks when necessary, although personally I don't think we should. I think we should just say sorry and just carry on in summertime. But they won't let me. So we will see you back here at 7 o'clock in 2 weeks time. In the meantime, have a great one, and we will see you all again very, very soon. Bye.